Hi everyone, it's Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. I am quite good. Although today I'm going to say something I didn't think I would be saying, at least not already. And if you've been following along, you know I'm a huge fan of Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark. You could argue that this conference wouldn't still exist without him. And it does. He made a very savvy move in negotiating the newest rights contract, the one that's in place now, that beat the Pac-12 to the punch and meant the Pac-12 exited stage left instead of the Big 12. Love the man. He's basically improved my job. But on Thursday, I got my first problem with something Brett Yormark did on behalf of the Big 12. At the end of the day, it's not a huge deal, or is it? Let's get into this, because the college football playoff announced a change in seedings on Thursday. And all four of the conference commissioners of the power conferences agreed upon these changes, including Brett Yormark. I don't really mind the most important one of these changes. If you recall last year, the 4 seeds in that 12-team bracket went to the 4 highest seeded conference champions. And in this case, I meant Boise State, as the group of 5 representative, bumped out the ACC school, which was odd. But that's not going to happen again, because from now on, at least for this season, the seeds will be the top 4 get the byes. Straight seeding. It could be all 4 SEC teams or Big Ten teams or however the committee wants to lay it out. That's not the problem. I appreciate that. The negotiation here was that originally the SEC and Big Ten wanted the money to stay the same for getting a bye and not for being the conference champion. So the settlement was the Big 12 and ACC will still be guaranteed that money that would go to a second round team, not just the money that goes to a first round team, which is less. That's kind of important. But here's the problem that I really have, and it honestly puts the Big 12 in a bad spot. The seedings will be 1 through 12. The top 12 teams in college football will advance to the playoff. That makes a lot of sense, except there's one problem. Don't trust the committee to get the seedings right. Last year, Arizona State was 11. The Big 12 probably should have had a second team in with BYU, but they didn't, because the committee looked down on the Big 12 and the ACC. Everything was wonderful with the Big 10 and SEC. And as we saw when Texas advanced to play Arizona State was the equal of Texas, and yet was seeded much lower, even though it had the bye. Here's what I really would like to see, is that if you don't get a bye as a conference champion, and you have to play in that first round of 4 games, the 8 lowest seeds will be in it, you should at least be guaranteed a home game as a conference champion. Not just the equal payout, but a home game also. And that would put the Big 12 in a better position to advance. You see, the role of the Big 12 now is disruptor. And they have to go out and prove that they belong and are competitive. And until they do that, they're not going to see much respect in the seedings. But now, if the seedings kind of hold up and the Big 12 team, as well as the ACC, is not in the top 8, they are not going to get a bye or a home game. The Big 12 champion will likely have to go on the road and play a non-champion from another conference. I got a big problem with that. And I appreciate the seedings and all that, but there has to be a better reward than just getting into the playoff for the conference champion. That's a given. And it should be a home game. And it should put the Big 12 at a slight advantage in advancing, because home games are important. Look, at the end of the day, the Big 12's just got to win. They've got to find a way to advance to the second round and maybe then into the semifinals. They've just got to do it. And until they do that, they will be looked down upon by many in the college football world. It would just be a lot easier to do it if they had home games guaranteed with these changes. But the Big 12 and Brett Yormark didn't get it.